What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Raynday Gaming. Today, we're going to talk about a simple topic, one that a lot of Paladins players, yes, even you struggle with, even if you don't know it. It's which items go with which champions, and what should you start out with? Am I a morale boost Ying player, a Chronos Ying player? Does it matter if I choose either, and what's the impact on my game, my team, and whether I get those Ws? Not only are we going to talk about what you should start with as far as your champion, but also what you should end with, and maybe what you should get in each of the trees, if that's even applicable. There are certain champions and Paladins that I wouldn't recommend going into the healing tree, maybe wouldn't recommend going into the defensive tree because you just don't really have the credits for it unless there's a very specific matchup. Let's take a look at Inara, the front line, and see what she should be starting with and help you improve your game. For Inara, it's going to be pretty simple. You do want to start out with something like Rejuvenate. Now, this is a really important card for Inara because she's one of the only champions that has a form of Rejuvenate or self-healing on an ability. This means that she's able to receive more healing than usual when she goes into her Earthing Guard, and this helps to counteract Cauterize. Although a lot of people talk about diminishing returns and things like that, Cauterize and Rejuvenate healing is a 1-to-1 ratio, so that 40% that she receives when she goes into Earthing Guard truly takes away 40% of the Cauterize applied to her, meaning if there's Cauterize 3, she only gets Cauterize 5, and that's a big deal because, you know, it's only 50% anti-heal instead of 90. What Rejuvenate does is it means that you get more bang for your buck and you get more mileage out of your healing, and as a frontline, since it's already one of her main strengths as a tank, it's very common to start Rejuvenate with Inara, which will leave you with 200 credits left. There are matchups where you may decide to go into Bulldozer with the other 200 credits, and those matchups should be only if you have a very heavy deployable composition that you're against. Something like an Inara with a Warder's Field on the other side, or something like a Barrack with a very heavy combat repair, field deploy, and healing station turret loadout. The other thing you can go for is if there are Ying clones and you know that you have a lot of Cauterize on your team, like a Death and Taxes Leon, who's going to give your team enough Cauterize that you don't necessarily have to go into it, and you can contribute to the point fight in a different way to eliminate another threat. If no one else is running Cauterize on your team, you should definitely invest in a Cauterize in terms of the red cards, and Wrecker isn't a bad choice, but since Inara is on the front line and she's fighting against tanks, those are usually the champions that need to get Cauterized the most, and that's why you would, in the red tree, go into the Cauterize most often. In a utility side, you'd most likely see Inara use Nimble or Master Riding, although Chronos is possible, it's just a very expensive item, and since she's investing into Rejuvenate and focusing on other items earlier on, it's not common to see the full Chronos Inara. What you will see though is Master Riding because it's an easy 300 credits that allows you to get into a position to be effective. Inara has so much health, so much damage reduction, and puts out a decent amount of damage to a backline character that if she just gets into a healer's face or into a backline damage champion, there's really not much they can do except run away, especially if she's getting healed. Nimble allows her to just be more maneuverable on the point, and this can help on different point fights, especially stuff like Stone Keep, where she has layers. She can run up the staircase and maybe chase you, or get away from danger by just skirting onto the point and then skirting into the alcove so she's out of line of sight. Morale boost is really your choice, and so is Chronos, although Chronos, like I mentioned, is expensive, and morale boost doesn't really get that much bang for your buck because Inara, although it's nice to have her seismic crash, doesn't really rely on it to change the game. It can definitely have game-changing moments, but you're not picking up Inara for the seismic crash. You're picking her up for her simple staying power and the ability to have so much healing, which is why you opt into Rejuvenate very early on. As far as the defensive tree, the blue tree, you're probably going to see Havens and Blast Shields for the most part. Resiliences aren't very good for Inara because she has CC immunity to get out of any huge stun that's coming, like a Kang Bomb or something that's disastrous like that. And she also has a talent called Mother's Grace, which allows her to just have CC immunity whenever she presses her right click, and it's on a very low cooldown in general. So usually you won't see Resilience because she already has plenty of that in her kit or ways to get it. Illuminate is a card that you will never see on Inara. There's no reason you should pick it up, and even if you are finding yourself against a Strix or a Sky, that is not a card you want to opt into. There's a lot of other priorities for Inaras. Unfortunately, the more damage reduction you get, the less those added on damage reduction points matter, and so you may be better off just skipping extra damage reduction altogether and opting for more healing, maybe opting for more Master Riding, Nimble, or even going into Cauterize to help your team out. Hopefully this has been impactful and informational. If it has, please leave a like, share, comment what you think below on what you should do for Inara, and if you agree with starting Rejuvenate and saving those extra 200 credits for either a tier 1 Cauterize, a Master Riding, or going into something completely different than what I said, and let me know why you think so below. I hope this series is helpful, and I hope you guys enjoy it. As always, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to stay tuned to all my videos here at Raynday Gaming. Remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you all next time.